Hello, 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 hello. How are you today? Oh my God, I cannot believe it. It is already Friday. The week just started and it's already a Friday. Yes, it is. And guess what? It is the 1st of May. For who don't know, because every day is into one these days, right? So who's keeping track? Well, I am. God. Guys, I don't know. I am just praying that we have a good session today, that we have no breakage, but you already know the spiel, right? If it does break, subscribe, guys, subscribe, 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 so that if and when the feed falls, you know that you will automatically reconnect because YouTube would have notified you that I am live, right? That is the purpose. One of the main purposes for subscribing. Okay, so you know when I'm live. Okay, but we're gonna pray that this feed does not fall, and we'll have a good session today, right? We had a great session on Wednesday when we were outdoors or our outdoor broadcast, right? But it was so windy, guys, and I replayed, because they know it's recorded. So I listened to the replay and I watched the replay, and it was just so windy. I myself was having trouble hearing some parts of it. So I was like, okay, that location is not ideal for an outdoor broadcast. At least I don't have that wherewithal, so I can give you a nice outdoor broadcast, guys. So we're going to settle with indoor broadcast, and it means that everybody in the community, people are home and they're on their internet. As a result of which the feed will fluctuate. Okay, so bear with me if that happens and understand, right? I thank you guys for your understanding. You guys have been great. I've gotten such great feedback on my WhatsApp. But guys, I'm asking you on YouTube, please, on YouTube, comment and like and share, okay, so YouTube can see, because listen, they have their algorithms, guys, and they track these things, right? And if you want this program to stay on YouTube, okay, and you want me to continue to do what I'm doing here, and you find value in what I'm doing, then like, okay, share and subscribe, okay. And I talk about YouTube, I must give you this one. So yesterday, okay, so some of you were with me live throughout the program and you heard everything that took place on the program yesterday, right? Some of you got the redacted version. Yeah, you got the version where YouTube took out certain segments out of the program, and so I did a playlist with the remainder, and that's what you got. So you did not see the live, but those who saw the live, which is good. It's the reason it is good to see live, and it's good for you to subscribe. You got everything. So, guys, apparently, I did the audio with that Dr. Jeff Ford, right, about the Jody and Perron case, and the YouTube robots, the bots, they are crawling right all over, and they check every content that you do, guys. They check the content to ensure that the content it lines up with their rules and their regulations, apparently. So their community guidelines that they of which they sent a copy to me. Yeah, they claim the robot, it was not a human being, it's a robot, that they flagged certain things that I said, that was said during that segment. And so, according to them, it wasn't fit for airplay. However, I appealed it. Reason I appealed it, guys, because their community guidelines, of which they sent to me, stated that if it is news, and as long as I explain the purpose of broadcasting that quote unquote graphic content, right? Then I should be okay, which I did. I told you guys before I played that this was parental discretion was advised, didn't I? I said that. So I was like, I made sure to put it out there, and this um, program is also not geared for children. I ensure that I check that box so that they know that I'm not doing a program that is fit for children in terms of having, the very young watch it unattended. Anyone can watch it, yes, but if children are watching it, must be supervised by their parents so that they can explain what is happening to them, right? Of course. So I did all of that because you learn that in journalism school, right? I'm not a baby to this, so I did that. So I was kind of surprised when they flagged my segment. However, they explained that it was the robots who do it. Guys, have you seen that movie I, Robot? If you have not seen that movie I, Robot, you need to go and watch that movie I, Robot. This is one of the main reasons, guys. Robots can never substitute for human beings because robots have no discretion. They are simply into they are 1 and 1 is 2. They see things in black and white. They're very logical. They have no emotions, no feelings, and they can't decipher certain things, right? And say, okay, this is what it is. Put it in context. They can't put things in context, guys, right? And so they are with their computer language, zeros and ones, and they're flagging certain words and certain things that are happening, and they think probably I was showing, based on what was said, I was showing something. They didn't realize it was an audio that was being played. So I'm like, this is an audio being played. And I explained that this was what was the doctor said, what he said to the reporter on our radio station. Okay. So I explained all of that to them in my in my what do you call it now? Appeal, right? Sorry, my appeal. So I'm waiting now for the outcome of my appeal. Yeah, never a dull moment around here, guys. Absolutely. So that's what happened yesterday, just for those folks who are wondering. Well, guys, it is a beautiful day that the Lord has made, and I am rejoicing in it. I thank you again for being here with me on this program. Okay. As I tell you guys, I am here to share knowledge with you. I'm a student of knowledge, just like you. But knowledge is nothing if we keep knowledge to ourselves, right? Knowledge must be shared. It must be applied. And that's why I'm here to do what I'm doing, right? To share knowledge with you. What I know, I share with you. What you have learned, you share with others, right? That's how it's supposed to work. Absolutely. Oh, and Dad, yeah, you see, I'm wearing sleeveless again for my father. Dad saw me in sleeveless on Wednesday. And he was like, he liked it, even though I was mentioning it about some persons don't like that. And he was like, why not? So if you notice, Wednesday, Thursday, today, Friday, I've been wearing sleeveless. This is it, that next week. So enjoy it while it lasts. Oh boy. I tell you. So guys, as I said, today is the 1st of May. And May, guys, for those who don't know, you should know by now, but if you don't know, May is always Child Month. Yes, the month of May is Child Month. And as it is Child Month, I am going to actually kick off my program with that segment, as I normally would kick off with the coronavirus numbers, right? We'll get to that. They're not going anywhere. But it's Child Month, 1st of May, beginning of Child Month, guys. And so let me just give you this. This is an Ananda alert. Okay, there's an Ananda alert. An Ananda alert, right? Where they give out for children, we're missing children, right? In the United States, it's called an Amber Alert. It's the same thing. An Amber Alert in the US is an Ananda Alert here in Jamaica. And so an Ananda Alert has been issued for 15-year-old Shamaya Benjamin of Bull Bay, St. Andrew. Benjamin was last seen on April 23rd, that's last week, Thursday, right? In the 11 miles community of Bull Bay, St. Andrew. She was reportedly wearing a black blouse and orange croc slippers. When the police told me this, because I spoke with the Bull Bay police about this, and they actually said she was wearing a croc slippers, and they said everybody would know what I'm talking about when I said croc slippers. I was like, so am I the only one who don't know what a croc slippers is? Anyways, she was wearing a croc slippers. I hear it's all the rage for young people. So she was wearing an orange croc slipper when last seen. Okay. And anyone who has information concerning her whereabouts is asked to call the Bull Bay police station. And the phone number to call is 876-967-6810. Again, that number is 876-967-6810. Or you can also call the police number 119 or Crime Stop number 311. Okay. And of course, you can always visit your nearest police station, right? Okay, so the 15th of May is actually recognized as National Children's Day, the 15th, right? So that's 2 Fridays from now will be the National Children's Day. While the month is celebrated as the Child's Month, then that particular day is celebrated as Children's Day. Okay, don't forget. Now, this is my spiel on this, guys. I followed up with the story before because I am I'm persons who know me with it, and I'm an advocate, right? I'm an advocate for the disenfranchised, right? Whether it's a child or it's an elder or it's a disabled person, right? Or when it comes to human trafficking and all the kind of things, I'm very big on this in terms of my advocacy, right? Now, the reason I said that because this girl, this name rang a bell when I heard this name, okay? And so when I did some research, I found out that this girl, Shamaya Benjamin, she was a missing child when she was 14, guys. At the age of 14, she was missing, and an alert was issued for her at that time. That's a year ago. Like a year ago, guys, exactly on the anniversary, a year ago, when she was missing, she was later found, right? A year later, she's missing again. Guys, many of you don't know how I feel about human trafficking, but for those who know, you know how I feel because I've had experience with my girlfriend who had her niece trafficked, right? And some persons had to get involved from higher ups and try to get her back, right? So as a result of which, I understand how these things work, and they can work. And we were told, right? We were told by persons who were high in the force, right? That basically when it happens the first time and the person is taken is rescued or given up, it can happen again, and it usually happens like within a year. Okay, I say that to say that this girl and Shamaya Benjamin, she is gone again, exactly a year later. All right, guys, human trafficking is real. Okay, it's real, and sometimes you see children and young people, and you're thinking that, oh, they run away with their boyfriends or they run away from home and so on and so forth, and you turn a blind eye. I'm asking you guys, do not do it. Do not do it. Do not do it, because you don't know the circumstance under which these young people, are find themselves, and you might see them and say, oh, the child is bad. No, don't do that, guys. If you see a young person, and she's 15 or she was 14 last year, she's now 15 years of age. And so if you see any young person, any teenager who does not belong to the community, does not belong to that household, inquire, guys, inquire. Try to find out, why is she there? Who is she? Right? Because sometimes she's there under duress. Sometimes she's threatened. Sometimes the family is threatened. You understand? Right? And for various reasons. And sometimes they are brainwashed also, okay, by people who they know, okay? And then they end up in situations wherein they are trafficked, okay, put into containers and sent overseas. I'm telling you, guys, things that are real. Some people claim that human trafficking is not real. Human trafficking is very real, okay? And what happens sometimes is that persons overseas purchase these young girls because they're always looking for virgins, right? Especially persons with HIV or AIDS. It's a fact. It's a myth. We know it's a myth, but they believe that a virgin can cure them of their disease. Yeah? And so people spend big money for these young girls, right? I'm telling you. And sometimes they are shipped in containers out of even Jamaica. I'm not talking about overseas. I'm not talking about a movie, guys. I'm talking about the real life here and now I'm telling you about, okay? And they are shipped in containers out of this country here that we're living in, Jamaica. All right? And when they end up in places, guys, like China and Thailand and Vietnam and these places, right, you can kiss them goodbye. There is no coming back because, okay, this is not Taken. And for those who have not seen the movie Taken, I am recommending another movie for you to go and watch, Taken. These movies, guys, I'm telling you, so actors are acting them, but they are based on things that happen in the real world, okay? These are art imitating life, okay? And in the movie Taken, right, this is not the movie where Liam Neeson's character had the wherewithal and the resources to go and hunt down his daughter in France, yeah, and bring her back home. This is not that. Many persons who are losing their children don't have that kind of resource or wherewithal, All right. And so when they go to China or wherever they go to France or these countries or even in the US, they are not coming back because people don't have the resource to hunt them down, and the police don't have the resource to hunt them down. So unless your child, your parent is a billionaire or whatever and can afford to do that and pay the police and somebody or some private detective and somebody to find your child, then it's not going to happen. So guys, we have to be our brother's keeper. Yeah, we have to help each other. So I am encouraging you, please, please, please. If you see a child you don't recognize, you don't know, it does not hurt to ask questions, okay? And do not assume and presume to know the child's circumstance, okay? Don't do it. That's why you're told not to judge, because you don't know circumstance, you don't know heart and intentions, you don't know. Okay, so just be your brother's keeper and sound the alarm. Okay, it's better to err on the side of caution, okay, than to turn a blind eye to a girl, right, who is being trafficked and need to be rescued and is not being rescued and end up in the system, guys. End up either dead, right, organs taken out and sold, right, or pimped out, to turn a prostitute, right? A million other things that can happen. Okay, guys, I feel very strongly about this, and people who know me well will tell you how strongly I feel about this for many reasons. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that is that with regard to. So let's talk now more about the back to coronavirus now. Continuing the news. So Jamaica now has 422 confirmed cases of the coronavirus disease, COVID-19, according to a press release issued by the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Of this number, 19 are employees of the Ministry of Health and Wellness office in New Kingston. Of the 26 new cases, 9 are males and 17 females, with ages ranging from 8 months to 63 years. With you guys with the big data, you love that, yeah? Right? Meanwhile, one person, unfortunately, has died from the COVID-19, bringing the number of deaths now to 8. So now we have 8 persons who have died from this COVID-19. The deceased patient is a 63-year-old female from St. Catherine who was a contact of the confirmed case. We also have 427 persons in isolation. We have 87 persons in government quarantine and 29 persons who have recovered. Yeah, they're big data, yeah. So guys, you hear that now, right? Here's what happened now. So the 63-year-old who died, and more than likely, if you check it out, it's an underlying condition, guys, that this person died from. Yeah, I'm sure you have not been given that detail, but I will almost put my head on the block that it is a person with underlying condition. Not only that, this person, guys, is a contact of one of the confirmed cases at Alorica call center. So as I told you before, of course, these persons, they live with families, whether it's their spouse or their parents or grandparents or their siblings or other relatives, right? They live with people. So it's not surprising that you're hearing this news. And I am not going to be surprised if I hear more, and do not be surprised if you hear more of this, because many of these persons that you hear, they said they are living in what they called multi-generational homes. Multi-generational home, that means that they're living, they have parents and grandparents in that home, right? And this 63-year-old sounds like a grandparent, right? Could be a parent too, right? But if the fact is, it's not an old person, right? The person is only 63 years of age. So therefore, this person did not die of natural cause, and the COVID-19 just doesn't kill you if you have good immune system. So chances are this person had an underlying condition. And again, guys, you see the importance of wearing your mask. This is why you practice infection control measures. You understand? It's not about you. So you have the virus, but you are quarantined and you're in isolation and you're recovering. But here it is, your parent or grandparent has died. How do you feel? Because you did not practice infection control measures. Chances are you did not know in any case, but the point is, right, that's why we have to practice infection control measures all the time. Guys, we have to wear our mask. Remember, I told you, you break the chain of infection, right? The portal of entry, portal of exit. Virus cannot go in, it cannot come out. You understand? Because you're wearing your mask, you're washing your hands with soap and water, and you're cleaning your surfaces. You touch the doorknob, you clean the doorknob. Whatever thing you touch with your contaminated hands, you rinse it off, you wash it off, you wash your hands, right? These are things that should have been practiced, and post COVID-19 should continue to be practiced, because it's only common sense, guys. These things only make sense, and these things work, right? You keep your environment clean, germ free, you'll be fine, right? But if you don't practice infection control measures, and if you do not wear your mask when you're outside or when you're in the presence of persons, if you have the virus and you know you have the virus, especially, you should be wearing your mask. You do not want to expose your family and loved ones to it. And if you don't yet have it, you should also be wearing your mask, so as the virus cannot go in the port, you will not be a portal of exit. There is no nose or mouth for it to go in. Yeah. All right. My condolences to the family of the deceased, and also for that person, male or female, from whom this 63-year-old caught the coronavirus disease. Yeah. Good news. Well, I know you all know by now. The communities in St. Catherine are readjusting to freedom this morning after the 24-hour curfew was lifted at 6 a.m. The curfew, as you know, it was initially implemented on the 15th of April, right? For 2 weeks, they were supposed to be locked down, right? And you know, the mayhem and the pandemonium that took place over there as a result of the sudden closure of St. Catherine, right? Then you understand they were supposed to have opened on Monday, Tuesday, and then you heard that they were open for another 3 days. Okay, so when it should have ended Wednesday morning, 6 a.m., it extended until this morning at 6 a.m. So, but my 2 cents on that, guys, is this. I don't understand though, because I have not gotten any report that says the 300 plus Alarico employees or persons connected to were actually contacted during their contact tracing, because remember they said that's why they needed a 3-day extension, right? Because they wanted to track down these persons. Now, we have not heard anything about these persons being tracked down, right? We don't know what happened, and based on the number that we're getting, we don't see where they are in any government isolation and government quarantine or in isolation. We don't see that based on the numbers, right? So therefore, what happened to these persons? You have reopened St. Catherine with these people still loose. We don't understand that. I mean, I'm happy for the St. Catherine persons being St. Catherine being open. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying your reason for closing it in the first instance was to round up these persons. Am I correct? Right. So if you have not been successful in doing that, we need to know what is going on, right? This is what I have a problem with, guys. The lack of transparency, right? Because we're bombarded with information, but nobody's actually, connecting the dots. The dots are not being connected. It's like that. It's like the case with Jody and Farron. All this information being thrown at you, right? And there's no connecting of the dots. And when you look at it, you see all these holes and inconsistencies, right? But because we're supposed to be stupid, we're not supposed to understand what is going on, apparently, right? So just throw things at us, throw information at us, throw numbers at us, and we just gobble it up without, asking questions and checking. And we have to do checks and balances here, man, right? So, anyways, as a result of St. Catherine being open for business again, many places have been open, like NCB Bank is open, and even the tax office is opening up on Monday. They haven't opened today, but they will open on Monday, they say, at 8:30 a.m. They are open from 8:30 a.m. until 2 p.m. Monday through Friday. And so the St. Catherine branches, and I didn't even know the one in Crossroad was closed too. In Crossroad, in St. Andrew, Kingston and St. Andrew. So the Crossroads tax office is also opening on Monday at 8:30 a.m. According to the TAJ, it will continue the suspension of in-branch collections of property tax and certificate of fitness fees at its revenue centers in Kingston and St. Andrew until Wednesday, May 6th. So in the meantime, between now and next week, Wednesday, if you need to pay your property tax or your fitness certificate fee, then you can do it online. At least, a matter of fact, you're encouraged to do these things online, guys. The tax office says basically most of the things that you come into the office to do, and we know how long those lines are. When you go to the tax office, it's like a whole day. You have to reserve a whole day just for the tax office. You can do no other business except look about your tax papers when you go to the tax office. Yeah? That's just the way the lines are just so long. Well, the tax office is saying, guys, it does not have to be that way. It's up to you because according to them, a lot of the transactions you can be done online, including paying of fees. So if you're going to pay a fee and if you have access to the internet, then instead of going to the tax office, just go online to their jamaicatax.gov website and do your transaction, right? Again, the website is jamaicatax.gov. Okay. All right. Some more good news, guys. And you know how, let me get the news first. Yeah, you know how much I was talking about those 43 crew members who came to Jamaica on April 2nd and had to leave on the 3rd without, coming on shore. All right, let me give you the story. Again. So, the 43 crew members on board the Marella Discovery 2 are scheduled to arrive in the island on Wednesday, May 6, 2020. Yay! Good news. According to Jennifer Howson, attorney representing some of the crew members, she was tweeting on her Twitter account, guys, and she said basically that they will have to pay $20 per day for quarantine needs to be dealt with. Yeah. So here's the thing. Okay, but I am sure when they heard the news, everybody was like, we don't care, right? We are getting to go back home, and so we will pay what we have to pay and return to Jamaica because we have to get off of the ship, right? No, I don't know. I cannot give the logistics as to how this is going to happen. Right? The fact that they have given us a date means that they must have had some arrangements. Now it says ship. So I don't know if the ship is returning to Jamaica because right now the ship is it is docked at the Southampton Pier in the United Kingdom. We know that, right? Because they went to Portugal and they were turned away from Portugal, so they end up in the UK. Remember, on the Thursday after. Excuse me, right? And so they are still on the ship. They didn't come off the ship. They're still on the ship because remember, England is closed until I think it's the 6th of May. I think, yeah, thereabouts. So, maybe that's what's going to happen. Maybe when England opens on the 6th of May, a flight is going to come out. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Guys, I will have more info on that as I find out. But I wasn't even thinking about that. But it's an option because England is supposed to reopen the first week in May. Next week, England is opening next week. So if England open next week, then they can get off the ship and take a plane back home. Maybe that's what's going to happen. Yeah. Yeah, I don't see the ship sailing back to Jamaica. So that must be what's going to happen. So yeah. So as I was saying, guys, so now they will have to pay, as I said, each person have to pay $20 for their upkeep. Government is not standing full responsibility, financial responsibility for these persons. Anyway, so they say $20 for each person per day while in their 14-day quarantine. So you can do the math for yourself, right, as to how much they will have to pay for the time that they are going to be in quarantine, right, at $20 per person. And that will, and if they're willing to do that, then they're, they will be able to come back. If they're willing to do that, because they're going to do that. They're forgiven, right? These guys earn a lot more than $20 on those ships. So they will definitely pay their $20 per day to return to Jamaica. That's what we're told. But you know that the attorney, I thought the attorney was for all of them, but no, the attorney is only for some. Apparently, some persons on the ship retained this lady's services. So we know this is a continuing story. We're gonna, guys, can I tell you something? Out of this COVID-19, the amount of lawsuits that are pending. Yeah. That's another story for another day. But we are happy one thing at a time, right? One thing at a time. First things first, we are happy that there is some progress. This is what we call progress now. What they said before. This is progress. Now we have a date as to when they're actually returning home. And we are so looking forward to seeing them here on the 6th of May. That's next week, Wednesday. And of course, I'm going to be right here giving you the news. Depending on whatever time they come, you'll either have it the news on Wednesday or you'll have it on Thursday. Absolutely. Yeah. And the family of Jody and Ferron is calling for the University Hospital of the West Indies, UA, to release our medical advisors can receive the documents. According to Mr. Buchanan, he says that the family is not questioning the moral integrity of the hospital personnel, right? They believe that releasing the documents will help them find answers and will provide some comfort in their time of bereavement. I'm quoting him now. He says, our Jodian is dead and the child is now without her mother. It may well be that she died despite the best efforts of the health providers, or that she died due to the neglect or omission of an health provider, right? The failure to hand over documents leave us vulnerable to public skeptics who feel that our loved one died under questionable circumstances, since they leave us open to the possibility of person or persons who ask us to consider whether these institutions would take this stance unless they had something to hide. He argued that the stance taken by UWI highlights an opportunity for the government to examine hospital protocols around medical records. Okay, so let me yeah, okay, all right. So I don't think I'm going to read the full statement because I have more to say. So I want to read the full statement that he said. It's online, guys. It's not a secret. All the newspapers are carrying the story, and so it's out there. If you really want to hear the full statement, you can go read it. But in the interest of time, I'm not going to read the full statement. I think I've read enough. You've heard enough. You've heard the story, don't it? Yeah. Yeah. Guys, remember, if you're liking the program, give it a thumbs up, right? And share the link with persons so that they can learn and they can hear what's going on, all right? All right. So the only thing I'm going to say with regard to that, guys, is that, and I'm not sure if it is true, but I heard, and I have not gotten a confirmation about this, I heard that the baby has died. And I don't know if it's a fact, so I cannot give you the full story on that, all right? But based on what was told by Dr. Jeff Ford. Remember, I told you about that in my previous broadcast, that he said basically if the baby survives, the baby would have mental retardation. His words, not mine, right? The baby would have mental retardation, okay? Because of the fact that, and you can use your imagination, guys. You can use your imagination based on the fact the way the delivery was done. I'm not going to go to the graphic again because I don't want YouTube flagging my program again by their foolish bots. Sorry, YouTube, right? Because I use a word that they don't think is appropriate to be used. So I'm not going to use any word right now. Excuse me. However, the manner in which she had the delivery was not pleasant. So the way the child came out of her body, it was distressing for the baby too. Okay, so the baby was distressed. And based on what was said, apparently the way the baby came out, maybe the clamp on the head or something, right? The child would have been retarded, the doctor said. So now it seems as though the child has actually died. We're not sure. But as I get more information for you, hopefully I'll have that for you Sunday or Monday. Remember, I come on Saturday, so you won't see me tomorrow. But on Sunday or Monday, I'll have that information for you as to what happened to the baby, right? Because if the baby dies, oh my God, I haven't even given you the child's father's reaction to all of this, but I will have that for you after I have confirmation of the baby's status, whether the baby's alive or dead. So on Sunday or Monday, I'll have that information for you guys. Yeah, so that's all I'll say on that story for now. To be continued, it's an ongoing story now, right? It's ongoing. All right. So now, continuing, the applicants for the We Care Compassionate and Set grants. Remember, yeah, right? We Care. So applicants should have started receiving their grants effective yesterday, which is Thursday, April 30th, as was directed by the Minister of Finance and Public Service, the Honorable Dr. Nigel Clarke. According to Dr. Clarke, in Parliament, he said this in Parliament on Tuesday, 85% of the 402,290 compassionate grant applications received. Remember, they received 500,000 plus applications, right? Approximately 500,000 applications, or a little bit less than 500,000 applications. Of that number, guys, 402,290 was for the compassionate grant alone. And of that number, 85% were actually processed successfully. That means they were eligible. They were eligible to receive the grant, right? And they said they also had 9,161 set applications that were successful. Okay, I'm going to talk about in a second. The persons were notified whether via email or via text message that they were successfully processed and should be receiving their grant as long as their banking information was correct. Or they would have gotten, if the banking information was not correct, they would have gotten a text or email to that effect for them to correct the information on their We Care website, right? Okay, so they said, the minister said disbursements would be made via person's bank accounts or remittance services. The minister also asked remittance agencies to use the opportunity to open bank accounts for all recipients via their affiliate banks. According to the minister, source of funds, which is usually an hindrance, is moot as the funds are coming from the government, and so the requirements also for references and other paperwork can be waived. According to the minister, there were 63,346 applications for the set grant, and of that number, 9,161 were successfully processed, and these persons were notified. The minister revealed that the law numbers for the set grant are due to employers not submitting the P45 form that was requested. All right. Okay, so here's my spiel on this now. First of all, okay, so one, I already said, the total application was almost 500,000, right? And I said most of it, 402,000 plus, was for the compassionate grant, right? We heard persons asking for the reopening of the application status for the compassionate grant, because the compassionate grant was supposed to be also for not only persons who did not fit in other categories, but also for the elderly, right? And there are quite a few elderly persons who don't know how to use the online system, who did not have anyone at the time to help them. And if they knew there was a deadline that then before June 30th, then they would have tried to find someone to assist them, right? But they did not have that opportunity, and they did not know. So when they were told application was closed, there are many elderly persons who were not able to apply. So requests have been asked for the application process to reopen. We haven't heard as if that's going to happen. However, if it's going to happen, it would have been afterwards, right? Because at this point in time, the minister has said that he's processing compassionate and the set grant, and then he was going to do all the other grants, right? Which is basically 10% of the application, the other grants, right? And then that would have commenced next week. So if this is going to have a reopening, it would have to be after that, right? Now, according to what the minister said, persons should start. And I've heard even before yesterday, April 30th, that many persons said that they got their compassionate grant. True or false, I don't know. It's what I've been told that many persons have been receiving. Okay, well, they should have officially started yesterday anyway, right? So you can start looking out into your bank account for your stimulus package. Yeah. Now the minister said that persons who are who are picking up theirs via remittance agencies, they must have their IDs when they're going along with their reference number, right? They would have gotten a number when they applied online, and they should take that with them with their ID to go and pick up their remittance. Now, this is an interesting point that he has said. I find very interesting. He has said, and it makes sense what he has said. I find it very interesting what he said, and I hope persons will take him up on his offer, because he has said that. Okay, so here it is. Many persons could not have their money deposited to their bank accounts, right? Because they don't have a bank account. Because guys, how difficult it is to open a bank account. Not everybody has an account. And some of us have more than one, but the point is many of us don't have any at all, because it's not easy to open a bank account. So for those persons who don't have a bank account, their stimulus package, they have to get their remittance, they get their grant via remittance service, right? Now, the remittance services, all of them are affiliated to banks, right? The remittance services, they don't keep their money in the office where you go to collect your money or to receive your money, right? It's kept in a bank. So they're all affiliated to banks. So what the minister is saying, therefore, is that all of you agencies that are bank, you're affiliated to a bank, why not just open an account for the person, right, at that bank that you're affiliated to, or with whom you're affiliated? American, British, whatever, right? You get the point. And what I think that's a very, very good idea. I think it's an excellent idea. I think all remittance agencies are being opened right now to facilitate the remittance of the compassionate and the set grant. Every one of them, I think they should. Every person who comes to pick up their check, to pick up their money, they should open a bank account for that person, because that person, for whatever reason, could not open a bank account. And it's an excellent opportunity for them to do so, because as the minister rightfully said, most time when you try to open an account, they want to know your source of funds. And sometimes you do not qualify. Source of funds is the government. Doesn't get any better than that. You're getting your money from the government, right? So money coming from the government, you don't need references and all these other things that they're asking for, because the government has already verified, right? The government has verified that here is a person, because they did their verification. They did their verification before they hand you their money, because the government is not going to give you their money unless they have verified your identity, right? And who you are, etc., etc. So all the checks and balances have been already done by the government. So therefore, it is okay now for you, the bank, to say, okay, I will open an account for Mary Brown because she has been verified by the government already. Okay, so I think it's an excellent idea, and I think all the banks should take up this opportunity, take this offer and this opportunity to open accounts for these persons. Every one of them should do so, because it does not get any better than this, right? The person is already verified by the government, so the person have no need to want to give you references and to give you this and to give you that and whatever. No, cut all that red tape and blue tape and pink tape and give the persons their bank accounts, because they have an ID and they have been verified by the government. Excellent idea, Dr. Clark. All right, that's my 2 cents. Yeah. Oh, one more thing on that. I have another 2 cents on that. You heard the numbers I gave you, right? The minister said 63,346 persons applied for the SET grant. Now, remember, these are for persons who were employed prior to March 10th, right? Or after March 10th. But because of the fact of COVID-19, they were laid off, right? So they're no longer working. But they were working. And so they would have been paying their taxes, right? They would have been. Their employer would have collected on their behalf. Now, what the government said is that, okay, for these persons, submit a P45 form. That is the former employer is supposed to do that, right? Submit the P45 form so that we can hand out checks to these persons. because they're not working anymore. Guys, you heard the numbers. 63,346. And of that, not even 10,000. Not even 10,000. It was what? 9,161 successfully processed. And the reason the minister gave that this was not done, guys, no P45. The employers could not submit P45. Either they could not or would not. That's a red flag right there, guys. It's a red flag. You see, post COVID-19, I hope you guys are paying attention, and I hope you guys are seeing what I'm telling you about respecting COVID-19 in a way, because I'm telling you, it is exposing a lot of things. It is showing up the good. It is showing up the bad. Lots of things will have to change going forward. The system has got to change going forward, because here it is. You see, one of the things that you can assume, why we don't like to assume, but sometimes based on the information given, we can make certain presumptions, right? And one of them you can presume at this point in time is that some of these employers are not able to submit the P45 because what? They did not submit any tax on the behalf of these employees. So they probably collect the employees' money out of their paycheck, but did not pay it over to the government. And so as a result of which, they cannot submit a P45. And now these poor workers, over 50,000 of them, because it's 63,000 applied and less than 10,000 are successful. So there are 50,000, approximately 50,000 persons out there right now who work and cannot get a stimulus check because their former employer did not submit a P45. Guys, this is an ongoing story. Yeah. Guys, remember, share the link, subscribe, and give it a thumbs up if you like what I'm saying. And also, if you have your own views, which are different from mine, I have no problem. Comment, man. Comment on it and let me know how you feel about this, okay? Continuing. So, dancehall artist Dexter Daps, whose real name is Louis Grandison, has been released from the police lockup. According to his attorney, Peter Champagny, no formal charge has been laid against him. So you remember that I gave you the news a while back about this dancehall artist, that Dexter Daps, who was arrested on suspicion or for questioning with regard to gang-related activities. That was their term, gang-related activities, right? So his lawyer and this gentleman, Mr. Champagny, I don't know, but I'm seeing his name in the news so many times. I'm like, is he the only criminal attorney out there working right now during COVID-19? Because he's the only attorney I'm hearing about, except for Isaac Buchanan. I mean, seriously, every turn I turn, I'm seeing Peter Champagny's name, as attorney for defending these guys, and so he's also defending Dexter Daps, and apparently he was going to put in an appeal today, and maybe somebody cited the rake. I don't know what happened, but that didn't have to happen because he was released without charges. He was not charged. He was released without charges. So the question is now, is that a wrongful arrest? Will there be another lawsuit pending there, so too? Guys, another developing ongoing story. Yeah. Oh, and as we're on the subject of police, I gotta give you this one. So 5 prisoners escaped from the Maypen police station in Clarendon, according to the RGR News Online. That's where I got this information, right? I also heard it on my left from afterwards. According to the news, routine checks were done when the prisoners were discovered missing at about 5 a.m. Thursday morning, right? Investigation revealed that a fan from a wall in the cell in the cell was removed, leaving a hole for their escape. So apparently, you know how you have these exhaust fans, guys, these extraction fans that extract the hair and in the wall, right? So apparently, these guys are so ingenious. The guys, they took out the fan out of the wall and climbed through the wall. Climbed through the hole, right? Through the wall and escaped. But apparently, either these two guys had a problem with maybe some mobile with their mobility. I don't know, or they were just slow. But two of them were captured in the courtyard, so they didn't get far. So they recaptured two of the guys, but the other three are on the run, right? So three managed to escape, while two did not make it far. Yeah. So apparently, the police are asking, of course, anyone knowing having any information concerning these guys are to um, report it to the nearest police station and to remind the public that harboring a fugitive is a crime. So you yourself, my grandmother always said, the upholder is as bad as the rogue. So in the law's eyes, yes, you are. And so if you harbor any of these fugitives, you will find yourself above the law and will be charged. Okay, so you're asked to give them up. But in any case, I don't think that will be too hard to do because, as far as I understand it, basically, nobody's letting anybody into their houses these days. Yeah, I see some videos on social media going viral with relatives going to see their loved ones and the relatives throwing all water at them and running them and say, "Go back to where you're coming from." Oh God, you gotta take bad things make laugh, yeah? I mean, oh my God, the social distancing thing is really killing us, boy. Yeah, but I guess it has its merit, yeah? Mm-hmm. Okay, so continuing. So here's another one for you fast food lovers. Reported 70% reduction in business has forced fast food chain Mothers to close its 18 stores island-wide. And you know they recently opened one right here in Montego Bay. Well, that is closed too. So they closed their 18 stores, relieving 900 staff and 200 vendors of their jobs for the next 30 days. So, well, these 900 staff, actually, you guys, unfortunately, you can't apply for the SET because application is closed, right? But hopefully you have some money saved for you to survive for the next 30 days because apparently they will reopen on June 1st. So you're just going to be out of work for 30 days. So stay low, lie low, right? For the next 30 days and try to pinch. You got to pinch, right, on what you have for it to last you for the next 30 days until they reopen on June 1st, right? Mothers have joined the line of major quick service providers who have announced plans to either slash their workforce or reduce in-store hours owing to the economic downturn triggered by COVID-19. It's just Thursday that Restaurant Associates Limited RAL, they're the operators of Burger King, Popeyes, and Little Caesars. So they revealed that they had experienced up to 50% plunge in sales at their stores as a result of the reduction of in-store hours because of the curfew, right? And so they had ceased their operations on campus at UWI, University Hospital, not hospital, University of the West Indies, right? And the Norman Mann International Airport. They closed their stores. The Mothers' woes started with the fallout in the tourism industry and the closure of 10 schools in which they operate their concessionaries. So they have concessionaries at 10 schools that were closed, right? And that was disclosed by their chairman, Mr. Richard Foreman, right? He said it worsened with the lockdown of most business process outsourcing sites with the curfews proving the tipping point. So they also have, the BPOs are also some of their biggest customers also. So with the BPOs close, that also, mitigated their having to now close their stores, right? The gentleman said, Mr. Foreman, that the nationwide curfew imposed to limit movement and thus curb the spread of the novel coronavirus. Sorry, my bad. He said, we supply a lot of hotels with parties. Coupled with the curfew restrictions, the situation became unprofitable. That's what he told the Gleaner in a Gleaner interview. All right. However, the Mother's boss said that he had lost up to 20% of his breakfast business as a result of the new times that was imposed and some 50% of lunch and dinner time traffic in the afternoons. We had a similar fallout when the curfew was at 8 p.m., right? Pointing out that he was no longer able to foot the bill to run the stores. Social distancing became an issue for both the staff and for our customers, he said. Okay, so RAL, that is Restaurant Associates, they have an overall workforce of approximately 1,400, spanning 27. Did you know they have 27 Burger King stores island-wide? They have 8 Popeye outlets and 7 Little Caesars branches. I didn't even know that. This was news for me. Right? And you know that KFC, right? Restaurants of Jamaica, and they have 51 KFC and Pizza Hut stores. 51, right? And we only have 13 parishes. So you do the math. Oh my God! And it's so much people love fast food. Eh? They won't even cook at their homes. Mm? My gosh, 51 stores. Wow. And they are now planning on laying off some persons. They haven't given details yet, but they are planning to do some layoffs because they are closing stores also. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, guys. And I want to one last thing I'm gonna finish with for today, right? Some good news, some very, very good news. The Separate Group has donated $5 million worth of food supplies, which included some flour, rice, oil, cheese, sardines, milk, etc. Good stuff, yeah? To the Ministry of Labor and Social Services in the relief of hardship being experienced as a result of COVID-19. According to the ministry, the packages that they receive will be repackaged. They're going to repackage these packages and distribute them to persons who are considered to be food poor. They need food, okay? And these persons include persons who are in quarantine in St. Catherine, the elderly, and the disabled. They're the ones who are going to be targeted for this lovely, generous donation by Seprod, of course, right? And my final international news for you for today. I'll have more on international news for you on Sunday. But for today, you know that our numbers now have gone to over 1 million recoveries. Yeah, we have over 1 million recoveries. 3,445,000 confirmed cases, right? Confirmed cases, right? And we have 217,769 confirmed deaths. That's worldwide, right? So over 200,000 deaths worldwide, over 3 million confirmed cases, but we have over 1 million recoveries. So people are recovering, guys. People are recovering. So it's not a death sentence. COVID-19 is not a death sentence. Remember to practice infection control measures, break the chain of infection. Remember what infection needs to survive. You break the link, you break the chain, right? And so practice wearing your mask, okay, and physical distancing. Guys, I hate the social distancing term because, you know, to tell you the truth, people are taking it too literal and people are not being sociable. They're not socializing, and it's not what it's about, really. It's physical distancing, really, being apart 6 feet from each other. That you can communicate with people 6 feet apart, guys. Yes, you can, right? You can easily. So do not use that as an excuse not to visit the poor, not to visit the shut-ins and the homeless, and not to care for the homeless and not to care for persons who are vulnerable in our society and all that, guys. No, do not use it as an excuse. You can still do all the good things, the humanitarian things that you're supposed to do, right? For the betterment of our country and for the world at large. Okay, guys? Practice social distancing, yes, but with compassionate discretion, as Dr. Honorable Desmond Mackenzie would say, right? Compassionate discretion is what needs to be applied. Help each one, help one. Be your brother's keeper. Love your neighbor as yourself, okay? So do all the good things you can to all the people you can in every way you can, okay? Do not use social distancing as an excuse not to do it. Do not do that, guys. All right. And so, yes, that is my spiel for today. Guys, I have come to the end of the program. And yes, thank you, Daddy. No interruptions. I love it. Don't you just love when we have a straight through program with no interruptions? Amen and amen and amen. Thank you, Lord. Amen. Yes, so guys, so I hope you enjoyed the program for today, right? If you do, give it a thumbs up, man. Give it a thumbs up, all right? Share the link with somebody so that they too can enjoy it, right? And subscribe. Remember to subscribe, 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 all right? Okay, guys. And I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So you can go on these platforms and also like, share, and comment, all right? And remember, if it is that you wish to be on this program, and I'm still trying to get some guests for us for next week, guys, you can send me a message, a direct message on my Facebook account, Omega News JA, or you can, if you want, for example, for me to discuss a topic that you have not heard me talk about, you can also send that information to me, okay? And I look into it and I'll do so, all right? Guys, remember, it is important to share knowledge. Okay, I'm a student of knowledge just like you. Okay, but whatever I know, I share with you. Okay, and you also must share it with those around you. And don't assume, okay, that people know